You know, I think that if a lion did have a Jerry curl, that'd be the dopest line in the thing. Why are we looking at stuff before we go
Jelian.
live? A Jelion. Wow. Welcome to the King and Me Show. I'm one half of this thing, King.
Hey y'all, it's me, Michelle. How y'all doing?
It is Monday, November the 10th, the
Monday.
day before Veterans Day, which is why I have my veterans hat on. I am a proud member of the veterans alumni, if you will, as I was a veteran in the U.S. Air Force for just under 10 years. So, to our other veterans out there who are watching this that have served, let me give you a salute. Ooh, look how crisp that salute look.
It does look crisp. I love it.
We are streaming on multiple platforms to include a couple of partnerships. So let's get those partnerships up. Shout out to Perry Productions, the homie, for allowing us to stream on his platform over on Facebook, his 200 and something thousand followers and growing. We appreciate you for allowing us to stream over there, as well as our partnership with WTF Nation Radio, the voice of U.S. Army WTF moments, for allowing us to stream over on their platform as well. WTF Nation Radio also has a host of other shows. Immediately after hours, you will catch the Monday edition with my main man, Ice. So if you're watching us over on that platform, stick around. Don't go nowhere once we get off air because Ice is going to be coming on as well. Well, we've done a lot these last couple of days.
Look.
We've had some travel plans over this past weekend. We've got travel plans this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
It is a pretty interesting month of November despite the government being shut down.
We have something planned pretty much every single weekend. Not pretty much every single weekend this month. We have something planned.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to it, especially with the down news that's been happening just kind of worldwide a lot lately. It's good to be able to politic and fellowship with some people and laugh and crack some jokes and have some smiles.
You are 100% right. And you know what else I love about this time of year?
Football?
Well, in addition to football.
What's that?
Roll Tide. In addition to football and Ravens, we also get to watch some really bomb television stuff. So we have good things that are coming on television that keep us entertained, and we're just able to like flow with all of that. And I think we're talking about a television show tonight.
Yeah. So one of those things is the television show Love is Blind, hosted by Nick Lachey and Vanessa Hudgens. And the premise behind the show is.
Oh, sorry. I was just about to take a sip of water.
My bad.
The premise behind the show is that you have singles. I believe it's 10 men, 10 women, or maybe 15 men, 15 women who go and they live in this like dormitory situation for 10 days, and they go on these blind dates with people, and they're supposed to be making connections, and you don't get to see what the other person that you've been talking to looks like until one person proposes and the other person accepts the proposal. Then like the next day they're revealed, and the show sends 5 or 6 sets of couples to a vacation once those matches have been made so that they can get to know each other a little better before having them moved in together for 3 weeks, because the whole premise of the show is at the end of a 4-week period. So you spent 10 days getting to know them in the pods, and at the end of a 4-week period, you're supposed to say, I do, I do, I do.
So the show essentially is designed to tackle and answer 2 questions. Can you fall in love with somebody without ever seeing them?
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, can you survive the real world?
Ooh, okay. Juicy questions.
So we're gonna dive into it, primarily speaking on several of the couples that made it, that got matched up together, as they showed and showcased some of the people earlier as people were trying to fill each other out, answer questions and things like that. What was your take on a lot of the early people? Were there some folks that you felt like could have been a good match, but they didn't really see it themselves?
I won't answer that, but I just want to say here, this is a spoiler alert for Love is Blind
Spoiler
season
alert.
9. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Okay? We're about to get spoilers. Excuse me. I also want to take a moment to shout out those who are watching us Tarika, the greatest mod this side of the pond. Thank you so much for being here. For everyone else who may be watching that hasn't commented yet, comment, hit that like button wherever you are watching from. So, Love is Blind, this season 9 took place in Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Denver, home of the Broncos, um, and cold weather, and that's it. I'm drawing a blank on whatever else it may be known for.
Weed.
Okay, maybe. And failed relationships, because on this season of Love is Blind, you had several couples that did make it out the pods, but again, spoiler alert, none of them, not a one, said I do at the altar.
Which was history.
This is the first time in Love is Blind history that absolutely no couples got married. Some people get married and then you see later on that they get a divorce, because I also watched Love is Blind UK. Some people get married and then they get a divorce, but I have never, on the American version of Love is Blind, seen no one get married.
Let me stick on that for a second. I think that that's a sign of the times on how people are viewing modern relationships.
I think it's a sign that Netflix needs to do better with their casting.
Oh,
because some of those were casting issues. We also saw something happen on Love is Blind season 9 where two people chose to leave the pods. Two people, a male and a female, chose to leave the pods early, which means they gave up. They realized after signing up for a show called Love is Blind, where they had to go on blind dates for 10 days with people and hopefully get a match, they realized, oh no, homie, I don't really want to do this. And they dropped out of the pods. We have seen people drop out, I think maybe like once or twice in all of the other 8 seasons that preceded it. And again, Love is Blind, there's the US version, there's the UK version, there's the Brazil version, there are several other versions. I think there's in Italy. There are lots of different versions, and I've tried to watch some of the other versions, but I get really, really thrown off when lips are moving at one pace and then there's audio at another, because they do like voiceovers for it. So it threw me off, but the concept is still the same. The UK, really, really good. But Denver, all these couples. So your question was there any couple that I really wanted to match that didn't? The couple that I wanted to match was Patrick, and I think her name was Anna.
Anna, yeah.
But Anna left the show. And that frustrated me. That really, really frustrated me, because I'm like, sis, he would have been your person. He would have held it down. So Patrick is Asian, and he said the biggest issue that he ran into in Denver was never being able to really connect with another Asian person. And like she was saying the same thing, and like they were vibing, and then she just left. She didn't say, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to leave. Like, I don't think this is for me. She just left. And she had already talked about one of her parents having like health issues. So Patrick is over there assuming that when she wasn't on the other side of the wall, it's because something happened. And I'm just like, first of all, this is what we call ghosting. Like, you are literally ghosting while in the pods. Why not communicate that? And that's something we talk about often, effective communication. And I feel like right there, sis had the opportunity to effectively communicate with Patrick, stop getting his hopes all up, and like just be hot, honest, open, and transparent. And she chose not to. And I'm just like, that's not okay.
So let's take a look at the entire cast here.
Okay.
As we take a look. Now, this is going to be everybody. And some of these people's stories weren't necessarily featured. So you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 4, 32. So 32 people
16 and 16.
that are listed up here. Not a lot of color, but that could reflect Denver's makeup of folks while that's there. So out of the 32 couples that are here, or 32 people that are here, there were about 12 plus 4 or 5 that were prominently featured.
Right.
So about 16, 17, 18 people that were prominently featured throughout Love is Blind season 9.
Let's get into it. All right. So let's start by talking about, so we kind of ranked them in order of people that we wanted to spend the least to the most amount of time talking about. And the couple that we wanted to spend the least amount of time talking about Madison and Joe. What stood out to you about Madison and Joe?
The fact that Joe talked about how she looked physically earlier, like Madison was not a petite build,
Mm-hmm.
and Joe very early on, and it seemed like often, at least that were captured on cameras and audio, would say things like, "You're normally not the type that I would talk to, or normally not the type that I would go after." Now, when they got coupled up together and they met each other in person,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like they got intimate very early on, which is something that we're also going to talk about with one of the other couples here later on. And both of them spoke as though the physical intimacy was great. Like
Yeah.
there were no issues when they met each other, went on their honeymoon, and they eventually hooked up. So I was surprised, not necessarily by them being incompatible later on. I think Madison had some self-esteem issues a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and also Joe's a bit of a d-bag.
The way I look at it, and I am not saying that you cannot have your personal preference for how a person should look. I know that as a society, we often say, oh, that is so wrong for him, because it normally is. We're saying that the man should not have physical standards for the woman. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. However, I am saying that you cannot go on a show like Love is Blind or even Married at First Sight
Mm.
and then start to say, oh, you don't look like my typical type. Well, honey, you went on a show where you were being blindly introduced to someone. You have to take into consideration that you are going to run into someone who does not look like the way that you would typically want someone to look. Like the odds of that happening are higher than not. You're going on a show that literally is called Love is Blind. You had to know, and I say this very respectfully, that the odds of that you are going to match with someone who may not physically look like the women that you have been with, well, the people that you have been with before. And if that happens, you need to be okay with it. If not, don't go on a show called Love is Blind or Married at First Sight. Like, that's stupid to me.
I'm gonna ask a question here.
What up?
When you and I first got together,
Mm-hmm.
would I have been somebody that traditionally you had gone after?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You're light skinned, bald, and with a beard.
I know that beard was kind of
The beard was it.
one of your things.
Yes, yes.
All right, okay. That does that surprise me? Now the beard part doesn't.
Now, would I have gone up and spoken to you? Probably not, because I was a little bit shy, like a little bit shy and reserved. But if you had spoken to me, I definitely would have responded.
Hmm. Okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Ask me.
King Smith, if we had met each other in the wild, am I someone that you would have been attracted to?
There's a short answer and there's a longer answer.
Oh, here we go.
The short answer is yes, because I thought, I mean, like when I saw you, I instantly thought that you were attractive. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think I would have came up and spoke to you because I assumed that your type would have been tall, dark, and handsome. And I'm handsome, but not tall and dark.
But wait, why would you have assumed that that would have been my type?
You got a lady like yourself. You got the hair. You got the
I
locks.
get bougie. Is that what you're saying?
Most people that I've seen that have locks, their type is tall, dark, and handsome. And I'm minus the tall and the dark.
Short kings need love too.
So that's why I like shows like this. Again, while I thought that you were attractive, I would have thought that I wasn't your type, so I just wouldn't have wasted my time.
And I think not just pertaining to you, but I think sometimes we do psych ourselves out when it comes to the dating market. Like we meet someone who very much says that they're interested in us, but because we have our own insecurities about one thing or another, we psych ourselves out and we're like, oh, well, there's no way that this person could be interested in me because da da da. Like when we first got together, I remember your type, you telling me that your type were women with long hair. You typically went for like light skin with long hair. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I have locks that I committed to having for my 30s. Who knows what'll happen in my
Oh, I
40s?
don't want to think
And
about that. Oh, I don't want to
no,
think about that.
this is what I was saying then. And I'm like, I'm not light skinned. I'm not like that typical. So I didn't know if you would go for me.
Mhm.
Like his, can I say who your childhood crush was?
Yeah.
His childhood crush was Mariah Carey, like old school 1990s Mariah Carey.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I look nothing like that. She's gorgeous. It was definitely more natural, more gorgeous back then, but I'm like, I don't look nothing like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this next couple that we're gonna highlight, they coupled up, they made it out there. I thought physically they looked well together, like
Yeah.
they matched well together. Allie was a nurse, Anton was in logistics and
I
truck
legitimately don't
driving,
know.
things like that. And she worked the overnight shift,
Mm-hmm.
and he would have varying shifts or whatnot. But the way that they talked, the things that they had the same or similar values on, I thought that they worked well together. Now, one of the things that I also judged when they finally did the reveal, once there was an offer and an acceptance,
Mm-hmm.
and they saw each other, I always looked like, what was the initial traction between both people?
Yeah.
And because the men always had to like walk away, were the ladies watching them as they walked away. And they were one of the were they yeah, I think they were the first couple
I think they were.
to pair up. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had that with them two, I thought that they looked great together. They had similar values. It wasn't until Allie started talking more that made me go, yeah, no.
Nope, not gonna work. Not gonna work.
Not gonna work. I think that Anton is a very laid back guy, and I think he makes decent money for what he does. She doesn't seem like she came from wealth or money like that. It seems like she does decent for herself. Definitely takes care of herself. But when she started talking about her needs, and a lot of the stuff was like um, financial
Yeah.
related and physical stuff, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that they're gonna work out. And she seemed to be really needy.
To me, it seemed like she was looking for a reason for them to not work out. There was a scene where the two of them went on a lunch date with his friend and that friend's girlfriend at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking the girl about him, and the woman said something along the lines of like the two friends drink too much, and Allie held on to that, and she was trying to like piggyback and use it later for other things. And I'm just like, I feel like you were holding on to that. It also seemed like she gave gold digger vibes.
Yes.
Like she really needed him to not only make a certain amount of money, but also keep her at a certain lifestyle that she felt she deserved. Not that she necessarily had already, but that she felt she deserved. Because she was in school, she was a nurse, and she was like, I don't cook, I don't clean, I don't do any of those things, but do you make enough money to cover me going to school and still pay for my Botox? And I'm like, that's what I mean, I respect the fact that you're saying that now, but also like that's where your mind is thinking. Not like, do you have enough so that we can retire sooner rather than later?
Mm-hmm.
What's your 401k looking like? If you don't have a 401k, what's your 403b? Like, you're not talking about that stuff, but you're asking if you can still get your Botox. And I don't say that I know it sounds super judgy. Everyone has their priorities, but it was one of those, I kind of feel like she was just looking for a reason to not be with him.
Speaking of looking for a reason, the thing that she did that I highlighted to you was, and this was revealed later on during the reunion, but it made me go back and think. During that lunch with the friend and the friend's girlfriend, she seemed to want to highlight and pick on what she thought was an alcohol problem between Anton and his drinking. And she talked about how they would they would get off work, and it would be in the morning for them because they would be both be overnight
shifts,
working, and then he would get off work in the morning time and would want to have a beer or two with a meal before like taking a shower and going to bed. And she tried to make it seem as though he had an alcohol problem. But did she ever at any time communicate that and bring that up to him?
No, and
Nope.
that goes right back to the need to have effective communication with the person that you're in a relationship with. You can't have these thoughts and then, hold it against your partner if you're never, ever, ever going to talk to your partner about it.
Yep. Now let's see if we have any other comments before we talk about the next couple that we're going to highlight from Love is Blind season 9. Shout out to Bubba Jackson over on Facebook, said, remember, I can actually bring this up. Remember Canada and Veterans Day is tomorrow. And a couple other things in there. We appreciate your comment
Thank you,
there.
thank
Good
you.
sir. Shout out to Larry Smith. Mike Larry said, hello, you guys.
Mike Lowry.
Hey, Pops, appreciate you popping in. Tarika said that you never saw the show. Check it out on Netflix. I
Yeah.
think it's a really good, it gives you a good idea of the way that people just think. Now, the casting and people that are talent managers, to me, they look for a certain look. You have to fit a certain look. I know that I've applied for a show like this, not necessarily Love is Blind.
Praise God, he didn't get it.
But I did apply for a show like this, and I didn't get a call back or anything. But I don't think that my social media hit the standards for what they were looking for. Like when I go and I look back at some of the cast social media, they seem to have a really decent curated social media already before they even get casted on the show.
And see, I think that's the difference between the US show and the other ones. Like again, I do watch the UK version, and it just seems like there's more quality across the pond. Like it seems like when it comes to casting,
when it comes to finding singles in general.
Yeah, like
passport bros up, get your passport, go overseas.
So this is about two people who were previously on Love is Blind. There's this woman, her name is AD. I forget what her real name is, but her name is AD. And she just got married to this man named Ali. Now, both of them were on Love is Blind. One was on Love is Blind in America, and the other one was on Love is Blind UK. And both of them had their heart broken at the altar. It didn't work out, and then they ended up getting together. And personally, I just think the UK show, again, because that's the one that I watch, I think they just do a better job at recruiting and getting people on the show.
I liked AD. I thought AD was dope, and AD got done dirty by the guy that she coupled up with. That was
just
stupid.
that there. Yeah, like, oh goodness.
Shout out to I like this name. FAFO Fairy said, I'm more addicted to 90-day fiance translation errors with a lot of laughing emojis.
Nice.
Hey, I understand exactly what you mean, and I agree. I am too.
I've never watched that show. Is it really good?
Oh, when 90 Day Fiance first came out, I watched the first 3 seasons. Like, I couldn't wait for episodes to get released. I fell off because, not because of the show, I fell off because around that time, I think I was like, needed to spend time doing other things and picking up a second job for to try and pay off debt or whatever. But it's a fantastic show. Fantastic show. One of the ones I thought about applying for as well. The things we find out while we go live.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this couple here. Oh man. So we talked about one of the guys already. I think Patrick's a solid dude. Patrick's the guy, he was Chinese and something. His last name was Suzuki, which would make you think it was Japanese.
But he wasn't. That Japanese was his
Chinese
stepfather.
And Korean, or
I don't remember.
Whichever the same Asian background that Anna was.
Yeah, I don't remember. All I know is that he said his last name is Japanese because his stepfather is Japanese, and he took his stepfather's last name.
Yep. And while Patrick was talking to people, you could tell that he would have some reservations about revealing what his ethnic background is.
Because he said that he had struggled outside with that. Like people find, and he explicitly said this. Now, granted, again, the premise of the show is that they try not to reveal some of the things about how they look. They don't want you to reveal some of the things about how you look because they want it to truly be blind. So he never revealed his ethnicity, but he did say, in the talking screens that he had run into issues in the past where people did not approach him or he didn't find success in dating because he was Asian in Denver. So he worked very, very hard to not disclose his ethnicity. And even when he had first connected with Anna, he didn't immediately disclose. Like, he tried to beat around the bush with it, tried not to tell his last name, but then he did eventually like reveal that information to her because he truly felt like Anna was the one. He loved her. He wanted to be with her.
Yep. Now, Casey wasn't Patrick's first choice.
Nope. Very much the second choice.
Very much the second choice. And that came out later on during the reunion and things like that. But it seemed like they were really aligned together once they let that go.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had the reveal where they finally met each other, I saw what I thought was definitely attraction from him to her.
Yeah.
And I think she faked it because I was like, oh, okay, she's attracted to him. I can see it. Mm-hmm. They hugged, they embraced. It didn't seem like it was awkward.
Gang.
But she was, because not long after they met, they saw each other, they were smiling, they were giggling and things like that, holding each other. She decided, yeah, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this anymore. And what irritated me wasn't even so much that she decided she didn't want to do it, which, number one, that kind of just validated everything that he had just said about being Asian, because he said people kind of backed away when they knew he was Asian, or like he wasn't pulling people because he was Asian. So the fact that she did that as soon as she saw him, like, that was irritating to me. But the other thing was that she wasn't clear and definitive in her communication with wanting to end it. She spoke to him as though she just didn't want to go on like the little honeymoon thing, that she was still interested, but she just like, right, that thing, she just didn't want to do it. No, whole time she was breaking up with him, but that wasn't clearly communicated.
And it was sad that Patrick was still trying to speak in a manner of, okay, you might be overwhelmed or whatnot, but like, I still find you attractive. Yeah. I think we still align. Even if we don't go to the honeymoon together, let's still work on this, work on us. And she straight Matrix dodged all of that line. And it was obvious at that point. I'm like looking at the screen like, Patrick, she don't want you, bro. Like, let that go. Let that go. And it frustrated me to no end that Casey tried to defend herself in saying that it wasn't about how he looked. I would have respected her
if she had just been honest.
If she had just been honest and said, he's not my type. I saw him. He's not my type. Judge me all you want. Call me shallow, because your actions definitely, stated it. Right. And everything else other than your words also stated it. I would have respected her if she communicated that out of her mouth.
But she didn't.
But she didn't, and I have no respect for how she handled that. Patrick's a good dude. I don't understand why he didn't like really get it. Say, I'm upset and angry. I'm mad. Oh. Express his feelings by saying, I'm furious. Because of that, and called her out. Instead, he tried to, and this is the other thing that pisses me off about these shows. The men on Love Is Blind, for the most part, you might have one, they portray a certain way instead of really just being in their masculine selves. And they'll try and go like high and mighty or go the high route, when the ladies will go low in a heartbeat. And have no problems doing it. For the next Love Is Blind season 10, to the talent managers out there, find you some masculine men that aren't afraid to actually communicate about how things are in a manner that you're going to call people out for their BS. Patrick, too much of a nice guy to do that. He didn't do it. During the reunion, he should have. There was an episode or the reunion where it was discovered that Casey had kept the ring and never gave it back. Now, Netflix, I guess, pays for the ring or whatnot, but it's not about who paid for the ring and like give it that. It's the symbolism of what you did when you accepted the proposal. If you're not going to keep that, you should not keep the ring.
I 100% agree with you. 100%.
And they did a really cool thing during the reunion episode where they played
That was
basketball.
not cool.
I thought it was
I
cool.
thought that was tacky.
Really?
I really do. Because what was the point of it? Like, I didn't understand the point of having a pro basketballer come in and do all of that. And I just looked at it as a severe waste of time when that could have been used for communicating more with other people. Clearly, she did not want to be with him from the moment she saw him. And you just giving her an extra 15 minutes of fame. The ring belongs to Netflix. Give it back to its owner.
We got Paul Bennett in the building, said, greetings and salutations. Appreciate you for tuning in, Paul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Paul, we're going to have some fellowshipping time with this weekend, and both Michelle and I are looking forward to it.
Yes, we are. We did get some comments over on WTF Nation. Musa commented, are we talking about TV shows? We're specifically talking about Love is Blind, but we kind of are talking about some other things as well. Holly jumped in and said this show, she's never heard of it, and it has 10 seasons. Currently, the American version has 9 seasons. We're talking about season 9, but there are different iterations of it. So there is a Love is Blind UK, Love is Blind Italy, Love is Blind Brazil, lots of different iterations, all Netflix.
And in my opinion, it is binge watchable.
Very much so.
With the way that they do the edits and things, how they'll end an episode going into the next one, the Netflix editors do a really good job of making it so that you want to know what's happening next.
Right.
All right. So did we wrap up our thoughts between Casey and Patrick? I think so. I think that Patrick, I think somebody's going to see Patrick, see what he does for a living. The brother's in shape. He's tall. He's not going to, Patrick's going to be that guy that's appreciated by older women. And I think that, and even though they're in their, I think they're mid 20s, like there are some folks that are like 30 and above. 30s, yeah, they're like around like the late 20s, early 30s. I think Patrick's the guy that when he's 40 years old, stupid wealthy and still in shape,
ridiculously wealthy,
people that curved him when they were younger are going to wish that they had them a Patrick.
Back then, didn't want me. Now hot, they all on me. Speaking of nice guys.
Man.
This is not the season for nice men. Okay. Ooh. So this one, we wanted to put the ones that we knew we were going to talk about a little bit more towards the end. So I feel like it's good. We knocked out 3 couples at the beginning. And there was actually one couple that we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about, who was it? Annie and someone. Where like Annie broke it off. The guy broke it off with Annie before the wedding. Oh, yeah. And Annie was like in denial about it and all this other stuff. We didn't talk about them. But let's get to KB and Edmund. So, again, the premise of Love is Blind is that you have men on one side of the pods, women on the other side, and you come together in like this room where it's decorative on both sides, but there's this big wall blocking you and you can't see the person on the other side. You can only hear them. So they had these dates where we could see what Edmund was doing, we could see what KB was doing, but KB and Edmund could not see what each other were doing. All you could hear was the other person's voice. And I'm going to be honest, me being very honest here, there was absolutely nothing about Edmund that I could hear that would make me have said yes to him. There was nothing at any point. Edmund was very, very sensitive. So things that we have to lead with Edmund. Number one, Edmund was adopted as a child. Like he went through the foster care system and was adopted as a child, didn't have a relationship with his mother growing up. He's a realtor, I believe.
Realtor.
And he cried like every 5 television minutes. And I'm not even being facetious with that. He cried all the time, y'all. And I'm talking about full blown out, like full blown tears. He cried all the time. And, you know, we women will be like, you know, I want my man to be sensitive and, you know, in touch with his feelings. No, you don't. You say that until it actually happens. Because seeing him cry, it wasn't even so much seeing a grown man cry, it was every single thing that was ever said to him, or every time the camera was in his face, he was crying. However, I will add this. I like to go on Facebook and like read the comments that people will write
Okay.
about the show. And a lot of people, and I'm no clinician, a lot of people were saying that he was demonstrating signs of undiagnosed autism. Again, I can't speak one way or the other, but I will say that his behavior to me, as someone who is in therapy, his behavior to me read as though someone who was emotionally immature.
He had a lot of mannerisms that would point towards something.
Yes. So he never said that he had a clinical diagnosis of anything, but it definitely presented like he was on the autism spectrum, and or that he had what is it? I don't think it's RSD. It's the rejection syndrome, rejection disorder. One of
Never heard of
I told you about it because one of my students has it. I forget what it's called, but it's something where it's literally a disorder where people do not respond well to rejection. And the reason why I'm saying this is because there were scenes that were shown where like something was said to him and he didn't know how to respond, and he literally went and hid in a cupboard in the kitchen. You know, like your cupboards that you have
Not a
in
metaphor.
the kitchen. I'm not like, again, not being facetious. He literally went and he was hiding in a cupboard. He walked around with a pick in the back of his head. I think like if you were to take a picture on social media and zoom in, he had a pick in his head. When he did like his on-screen interviews to get on the show, he talked about he still picked his nose and ate his boogers. Like there were some things that were said and done that the camera showed that very much gave he was not emotionally mature enough to be on this show. Is he emotionally mature enough to handle a job? Sure thing, but not yet ready for a relationship, because the way he presented with emotional um immaturity, and he also presented as someone who just could not handle any comments coming back to him about anything. So one of the things that we talked about earlier was that all the couples, when they went on the honeymoon vacation thing, they all had sex. Again, not judging people, but they all had sex. Except for this couple. They did not have sex.
Nope.
She wanted to wait until marriage. She did not have sex with him. Why do you think she didn't have sex with him?
Because she was not. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it the way that I said it. I think that while all of the other ladies got wet for their man, she didn't get wet for him.
Yes. So I don't know what KB was hearing that was like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and go through with this. But we believe wholeheartedly that when the reveal came and she actually saw him, because he ran up to her. And again, I'm not even kidding. Like he sprinted and he ran. He did a lot of things that were very much emotionally immature. And even Holly is in the comments saying, that man is in burnout with depression based on the description that I gave. And since, he was hiding severe burnout, the man was like running back and forth, walked around with a hair pick in his hair every single day. I think when KB saw him, she was not attracted to him at all. And I think that's why she did not want to have sex with him. Like she entertained him. She's a social worker and she still, presented kindly for the most part to him, but she spoke down to him as
Several
though
times.
all the time, as though she knew that on some level he was beneath her.
Mm-hmm.
Not beneath her as a person, but again, coming back to that emotional immaturity, she spoke down to him all the time as though she were speaking to a kid. And I think women, regardless of race, we don't want to raise a baby. And I think that was what did them in. Like I think she must have had like some kind of inkling at the beginning, but then when she saw him, it really hit home. Like, what did I just do? WTF? What did I just do? And she wanted no parts of that.
And it confused me because with KB, it seemed like she was giving him chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, but I couldn't understand her why. There was one point where she talks about how she tried to get something out of him off camera, and he talked one way off camera, but when the cameras came on, he was speaking in a different manner. I didn't hear one time Edmund talk disrespectfully to her, at least not on camera. But here's the thing about that. She's a social worker. She's smart enough to know how to regulate certain things. Like, even if people are like poking at you, you know that you're going to be, the real you is going to come out at some time. And I think the real KB came out often, and the real KB is not somebody that knows how to be with somebody like Edmund, who's very emotive and things of that nature. She called him, what, a B word?
She did. I was just about to say that.
She called him the BITCH. We try not to cuss on this platform. I cuss, but we don't cuss on this platform. We don't cuss on this one. She called him a B word, just straight up on camera. And it's like he heard it, but it didn't even flinch to him the disrespect that she just gave to him verbally. That was the point that I was like, why is it he not ending it?
Yeah. And you're so right, because for me, I heard that and I was like, because I watched the show while I was doing other things, right? I need sound and stimulation when I'm doing work. So I was listening to this during my planning period. So I wasn't always watching it. I was listening to it. And sometimes if I'm not reading closed caption, I don't hear things correctly. I know, that's weird. If I can't read it, then I don't hear it all the way. And I heard that and I was like, did she just call him a B word? Like, oh, so that's what we doing now? And that's what I mean when I say it seemed like she felt he was beneath her in some level, because I cannot imagine the audacity that it takes for you to be able to say to someone that you're supposed to be marrying in 2 weeks, for you to not only call them out of their name, but to call them the B word. And then that person stays. And the fact that he stays, to me, just solidified his emotional immaturity.
Now, something that we didn't talk about, but I want to highlight it for this couple, and maybe even go back to some of the other couples before we get to the final couple. KB and Edmund did make it to the altar.
Yes.
He said, I do.
She said, I don't.
She said, I don't. When we go back and look at some of the other couples, Madison and Joe, did they make it?
They did not make it.
They did not make it to the altar. All right. The other couple that did make it to the altar was Allie and Anton. Anton said, I do.
She said, I don't.
She said, I don't. All right. Now, did you have anything else on KB and Edmonton and Edmund? I think that the thing, there was two things: not having sex, which he kirked out about.
He did. He cried about that too. Like, when we say he cried about everything, please understand, we are not exaggerating. He cried about everything. Everything.
I think the not having sex and the B word, I was like, yeah, that couple is doomed. I had hope for some of the couples midway through the seasons, and even as they kind of got to the honeymoon, and when they had the Pod Squad episode where they showed the people that were featured kind of prominently in the show, but they didn't couple up. There was some backstories, like one guy got rejected, but was like, he could have been in with somebody else. And we're going to talk a little bit about that guy when we get to this final couple here, which is Megan and Jordan. Now, Jordan was a single father. Yes. And they prominently
talked about that.
I mean, it was in every single time that they brought up Jordan, they talked about his love for his son. And look, as a father myself, fantastic. That's great. Megan didn't have kids. Megan's wealthy.
Stupid rich.
Megan's wealthy.
Yes, sorry. She's not even rich. She's wealthy.
She's wealthy / stupid rich. Jordan, not quite on that level.
Not there. So first things first that I want to say about Megan and Jordan. Here's what I've noticed. In the past couple of seasons, we've seen fathers on there, and the fathers have matched. But I distinctly remember a couple of seasons ago that a woman came on there, and I can't remember her name. Never mind. I don't want to say her name was Megan, but it was a woman who came on a couple of seasons ago, and there was this guy who absolutely loved her, and then she let the bomb out that she had a child, and he instantly was no longer attracted to her. Now, mind you, again, we can see what these two people look like, and she was dropped.
She was smoking.
Gorgeous.
She was smoking.
She was so gorgeous, and it's funny. He had someone else that was his clear number two. And the number two was like, some people say I look like Megan Fox. This did not look nothing like Megan Fox, but he opted for that woman because he got discouraged or whatever when he heard that the other woman had a child. So I find it funny that they don't cast a lot of single mothers on here, but they will cast single fathers, and the single fathers will get matched, but the single mothers won't. So that was something that stood out to me. But my issue with this couple from day one was that it seemed like Megan was only interested in Jordan, not because he had a child, but because his child had type 1 diabetes. And that resonated with her because she had just recently lost her father to type 1 diabetes as well. In fact, there would be times where they were in the pods where he could say anything about his son, Luca. Oh, Luca said the sky is blue. My dad, he thought the same thing. And it's just it relates so, what you're saying relates so much to me and what we went through with my dad. Everything came back to her dad and his type 1 diabetes. So in my personal opinion, I don't think she was really attracted to him in the pause. So even before they met, and then definitely when they did meet in person, because you can't tell, but he's tatted up everywhere except for his neck and face. Even his palms are tatted.
And tall.
And he's really, really tall. So he's got a lot of, areas to tattoo. But basically everything except for his neck and face are tatted. And I don't think that she was attracted to him in the pause. I don't think she was attracted to him outside of the pause. I think she was attracted to the fact that he had a child with type 1 diabetes.
Ooh, I disagree about the physical attraction.
Thing.
I think that when she saw him, tall, tattoos, I think he fit the physical part. But more of it, I think, stemmed from the fact that his son had type 1 diabetes and her father, passed away from it. And I think that bumped him a bit. But I think the only people that didn't find each other attractive like that were Joe and Madison. And KB and Edmund.
Okay.
I think the other couples did like the people that they were matched with.
So the other thing that I have to add about Jordan is when he was in the pods, he said he had no tattoos.
Yeah, that was a lie. He didn't say, he's like, I got a few.
Yeah, he downplayed the amount of tattoos. So when he came out and literally his palms are tatted, he came out and he had everything all tatted up. They did, and he was a big jokester, and she didn't really appreciate the constant joking. And I think that that's something that, you either love it or you hate it, and she hated it.
And when they got out in the real world and they were looking at houses and things like that, they were looking at a price range and things. And when you talk in terms of 1.5 or 2, and you don't even add the million to it.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, yeah, it's around 1.5.
Yeah. That's how you know they got money.
That's how you know she got money.
Yeah, she got money.
And he was saying that it didn't bother her, but it didn't bother him. But in my opinion, it did bother him.
Yeah.
I think it did. And he said, I don't want you to have to downplay your standard of living just to make this relationship work. But he was like, but I can't afford this.
I ain't got no 1.5 nothing. So I do want to highlight some comments that we received. So Holly mentioned when referring to KB that KB may not be in the right field. I 100% agree with you. Again, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I do agree with you. The other thing that I will add is I think that for KB, it just so quickly went downhill as soon as she saw him that she kind of threw out all of her practical training that she had received on how to engage with people who may be on the spectrum. Because again, if you've ever, you don't need to be a clinician. He legit, just like watch. Like Holly, I think you said you didn't watch this season. Watch this season. You can catch up on the other ones later, but go watch season 9.
I love Edmund. Edmund was extra. and I love the kid. And when you get towards the reunion or like some of the later episodes, somebody from his past comes. Edmund was a high school athlete. They even talked about at one of his games or senior night or something or graduation, like some event, like everybody from the staff came to watch Edmund and support him and things like that. I think the guy's a likable guy, but woo, the boy, the man has energy.
He does have energy, and I think he just, he needs the right person.
He needs the right person.
And I say with all sincerity, I hope that person that he first engages with is a therapist to be able to address like appropriate times for expressing emotions. There is a time and a place for everything. And sometimes you can't hold things in. I get it. But still a level of decorum needs to be exercised in situations. And some things you don't do in public.
We have a comment from Alexa. Alexa says, please tell me we didn't do KB and Edmund yet.
Sorry,
we just did. We just did. We did right before we covered the last couple, Megan and Jordan. And we do have to get off of the live here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I would have loved to know what you thought about
still
KB
type your comments.
and Edmund.
Still type your comments.
Right there.
And then Holly said the turnover rate in that field says a lot about it. That's true. Because you were talking about burnout as referring to Edmund, but burnout in that field is also, really, really high. It can be a lot to constantly deal with those emotions all the time. So you're 100% right, Holly. Like turnover is high in that career field.
Now, there were a couple of things that were revealed during the reunion episode. Like apparently Casey had tried her shot with a lot of different people.
Yeah, again,
afterwards.
She wanted her 15 minutes of fame.
There was the reveal of Megan.
Who, again, like, I don't think she didn't want to be a mother. I think at the end of the day, she realized what we all believe to be true, that she was only after Jordan because his child had type 1 diabetes. She said she didn't necessarily see herself being a mother. And then like a couple months later, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
A whole kid.
She had a whole kid.
And I don't know if they were married.
They were living together,
but,
I think.
But they did show the father of the kid as well. And there was one other man that was in the show, a guy named Mike. Mike seemed to be wealthy. He was older. It seemed like he had his stuff put together, unlike Jordan. And I thought that Mike and Megan would have been a good match maturity-wise for where they are in life and what they wanted. But you could tell that the guy that Megan had a kid by, that's a guy that has a yacht somewhere.
Yeah. He's got a yacht and a backup yacht somewhere.
He's got a whole yacht, backup yacht, a fleet of cars. Somewhere, and his money matched him, and he had tall, he looked like his name was Worthington or something like that. So yeah, like she got pregnant fast after this experiment was over.
I think, I don't remember the exact months, but it was less than 6 months after the experiment ended. She met that guy, fell for him, and the two of them, she ended up pregnant. And they had a child, because by the time she came for the reunion, and the reunion was a year and a half after they had finished recording, her son was 3 months old. So you factor in 3 months plus 9 months to carry it. We're at 12. So somewhere within like a 6-month range, she met that guy and became pregnant. So a lot of people were also saying, oh, that's a quick turnaround. And it's like, but if you think about it, the whole premise of Love is Blind is to meet, fall in love with, and marry someone within a 4-week period. So her getting pregnant by someone in a 3 to 6 month period isn't really that fast.
I agree.
Because that was the premise of the show.
Now, Michelle, like I had watched some of the past seasons or whatnot. I've skipped some seasons. But I do want to go back and just kind of watch them and catch up with them.
You got to watch the UK.
Michelle told me to watch this one, and I did, and I binge watched it in a day once I really got started.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. Any other thing that I want to talk about? Oh, the one other thing to mention was Allie was asked about if she was in a relationship, and she was like, I choose not to keep my personal life
And
private.
I'm like, ma'am, we just watched your personal life on TV. So either you don't have anyone, or you just feel like you need to be top secret about something, or you realize what a fool you made of yourself on television, and now you're just like, I want to keep it secret.
All right, let me see. Did Alexa come in and write anything about KB or Edmund? Alexa did not, but I would have loved to have known what your comment about those two would have been. Look, next week we are going to be live again.
We are live.
We're going to be live. We'll figure out the topic somewhere between then and now.
It'll be about relationships.
That part.
Here at The King and Me, we believe in offering a real outlook on healthy relationships. Real being
relatable,
entertaining,
accountable,
and loving.
I'm so mad at myself for missing that.
Baby.
But you know what? You got me. That's what I'm talking about.
Because we're a team.
All right. Well, look, thank y'all for tuning in to The King and Me Show.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us on all of our platforms. If you look into the description, you will see a link tree that has all of our platforms: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all of them.
All of them.
We also have a website. Check out TheKingandMEshow.com.
I do want to highlight something that Musa said earlier. Today is the birthday for the Marines. Happy birthday to the Marines. And I just want to reiterate something that King said earlier. So King, even though, today's the Marines' birthday, he is wearing an Air Force hat because he is a veteran of the Air Force, retired Staff Sergeant King Smith. So we do not only thank all of those who have served bravely and are now in veteran status. Thank you so much for your service. We realize that we are the land of the free because of the brave. I also want to take this moment to thank King. Thank you so much for your service, sir. Thank you for how you aided in making this country safer and better for us all.
You're welcome for my service. All right, y'all. Tune in to WTF Nation Radio, the Monday edition, hosted by Ice and co-host here in about 3 minutes. Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. We out.
See ya. Love you, baby.
Love you. Bye, y'all.
Bye.